Oh, you guys are gonna get a rise out of this.
Bravo. I swear they get better every week, and I know I say that every week, but I swear it's actually true. Those get better every single week. Welcome, everybody. It is Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, and that means one thing and one thing only. We are an hour and a half away from Monday Night Football. And tonight we have the Green Bay Packers against the Seattle Seahawks, and I can't wait. But before that, we have this show, Esports Canada TV. I am your host, at Quinn of the Net on Twitter, joined by my lovely, lovely co-host. Only one this week. We fired Nick Songers, but in memoriam, we are going to keep up this lovely picture of his elementary school graduation. Frank, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I actually like the new Nick because he screws up a lot less. He's a lot more pleasant to be around, that's for sure. But my week was okay. It was so-so. Some things didn't go as well as planned, but everything on average is pretty good. How about yourself?
It all evened out. Great. I had a fantastic weekend. I was part of a charity mini golf tournament. It's a thing we have here in St. John, not St. John's, called the Germain Street Open. And Germain Street's a really big street in uptown St. John. And so every year they do this mini golf tournament where different restaurants and bars and people's houses and apartments host a mini putt hole somewhere around the city. And basically teams sign up and they raise a bunch of money for the Children's Wish Foundation. And they travel around and go to these different mini putt holes and get really drunk and eat a lot of food. And it's a ton of fun. And I hosted a hole with my work. We did a Price is Right themed hole, and I got to play Bob Barker. And it was it was a lot of fun. We had Plinko and like a punch game. It was amazing. I'm
God,
sure
you sound so old, man.
There'll be VODs of it. What does it make me sound old?
Oh, I don't know. You played Plinko, did you say?
No, do you even know what Plinko is? I played Plinko. I hosted a Plinko.
Right?
Yeah.
Where they drop the puck. Yeah, dude, you sound like you're 50 years old. What are you talking about?
I hosted a hole where the hole was Plinko Price is Right themed.
Oh, and it was mini putt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but it's... I don't know, dude. That's still... Why didn't you, like, theme it like StarCraft or something? That would have been
because I didn't have the control. It was just... Frank...
Anyways, cool story, bro. You know that our Twitch thing seems to say League of Legends, huh? But I guess we are kind of playing League of Legends with all the drama up in this house. What?
Does it still say League of Legends?
Yeah, it does. Ah, you're so amateur, John.
How about now?
I don't know.
I just updated it. Screw it. If anyone tunes in looking for League of Legends, you could find any one of the 4,000 streams going on right now that aren't this one. But don't do it until after.
Yeah. Rudy Quick wants to know a picture of Nick. Actually, you guys should know, Nick's actually deathly ill. Last week he had a trip that he goes on with his school. Nick and I are teachers, so for those of you who don't know. And he told me this story. It's actually kind of funny. They go camping in a place in Canada called Sandbanks, if anybody's familiar with it. And what happens is the very first day when you show up on this nice beach. And Sandbanks around this time of year, it's actually just starting to close down, so there's like nobody there. So you show up on the beach and it's just empty beach, so it's beautiful. But there's a reason why the camp is closing down, because it's freezing outside, right? So he shows up and he decides to be the first one to run into this water, even before the grade 5 and 6s that he was like taking care of. So he said he got in his bathing suit, he runs out to the water, he yells YOLO, runs in like up to his neck, and he's like, damn, it's cold. And he like runs out, and he said ever since then he was feeling ill, so he complained about these migraines for the rest of the week, and then finally today he said, I can't make it. So migraines killing esports, I guess.
And my story was bad.
No, my story was good. It involved an Asian man freezing himself in a pool, yelling YOLO like he's 15, and then getting sick. Now that's a good story.
Mine had the prices. I don't even want to get into this anymore.
You're that Plinko, dude. Whatever.
My weekend was better than yours and Nick's.
Let the comments decide. Anybody else?
Whatever. Anyone
you guys
in chat,
comments,
vote for what you want.
John.
Obviously, my weekend was baller. Yeah, we are scheduled to have Complexity's Rise on the show this evening. As of right now, we're not sure if he's going to be able to make it or not. If he does make it, then we are going to throw him on immediately. So there'll be no warning of when Ryze is going to show up. He's just going to pop out of nowhere, Slender Man style.
Yeah.
So we look forward to that. We have a whole slew of questions ready for him, and we'll also be taking questions from chat for Ryze if he eventually shows up. But he definitely will, because he's a stand-up guy.
John guarantee.
I give it my stand-up guy seal of approval. Frank, did you have a chance to watch any DreamHack Valencia on the weekend?
I did. So I was actually, one thing I do want to mention is I was surprised at how small it looked. I mean, I say this, I feel like every time, but like NSL Toronto felt so big to me. So when I see, it looked like it was in just like a small garage area. But I did watch the finals between Tasia and 4GG, and it was a Terran versus Terran, so I didn't go in with too high hopes. I don't mind Terran versus Terran, and I know a lot of people actually say Terran versus Terran is their favorite matchup, but to me, Terran versus Terran is one of the harder ones to watch, because it's so much about like unsiege, inch forward, siege, all these little moves, and it's slow, and it's all about holding positions and making these stalemates, and so that's what I don't like so much about it. Although like drops and stuff are cool, it's just on average I don't like that small like inching forward play. But these were some hectic, exciting games, and made it even more exciting with the fact that 4GG went up 2-0, only had to win one more to win. It would have been 3-0. And what was funny is apparently Tasia beforehand in an interview said, I don't want this final to be one of those boring 3-0 matches. Obviously him saying that because he didn't want to 3-0 his opponent, but he was being threatened to be 3-0'd, and then all of a sudden turned it on, wins the last 3 games straight, wins the tournament. It was madness. So a lot of those little stories made it a lot more fun.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the comeback, I didn't have a chance to watch too much on Saturday because I was busy with the charity event, and then Sunday, when I finally tuned in, it was pretty much at the very end, or what I thought was the end, because I went to the bracket on Team Liquid and I looked at it and it said 4GG 2, Tasia 0, and I was like, oh shit, 4GG 1, fantastic. Didn't look at it again until like 6 hours later. I tuned into Team Liquid, and on the front page it's like, congratulations Tasia, and I was just like, what? Like, what tournament did he win? And it's not a confusion.
He was playing in 2 tournaments. He's that good.
Well, he is.
He's. It was really exciting though. It was interesting because Tasia kept going for this. He kept playing in a similar way. He likes his banshees, and he likes his harass on the opponent's mineral lines. But like, I think every game he built a banshee, and 4GG was doing a great job shutting it down. Especially in the second game that I was watching, he was already ready with his Raven. He had a Viking out, and he was ready for it. And so I was surprised to see Tasia really not stray too far from that same build, and I mean, it worked for him obviously those last 3 games, but I was thinking to myself, maybe people have learned how to play against Tasia, and he's basically hit that, what people call it, the rookie wall, right? So like in your rookie season you might have a breakout season, but then everybody knows about you, so then the following year you have like all this trouble because all of a sudden people know how to deal with this new thing that you've done, which gave you all the success when you first showed up because nobody had any info on you, right? So I thought he was going to hit this rookie wall with people seeing all these games he's playing, but pulled it out, stayed on top, and good on him.
Yeah, congrats. And it was also Team Liquid's birthday that it happened on.
So yeah, I saw that. Do you remember the age? Was it?
I want to say 7, but I don't think that's right. Someone in chat tell me how old Team Liquid is.
Yeah, if you guys know, please tell us.
You will win your name being mentioned on stream.
Holy cow, John! Shoo, wow.
I know. We only have so many of those. I only have so many of those to give away.
I do want to mention that when
I'm hearing Jay Grinch is 25 years, but that's not true whatsoever. There was no Team Liquid in 1987.
Somebody go turn on Liquid Rising right now, and you'll see when Liquid started. I do want to say when Tasia won, there was some awkward thing that happened in Celebration, and correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, just tell me, how long have they been doing champagne celebrations at the end of championships?
The first one I remember was NASL, but
you haven't seen it anywhere else, right?
They definitely haven't done it at MLG. Because MLG, the player comes out and does like a solemn bow, and then the lights dim a bit, and then they run credits while like the theme from Schindler's List plays. That's usually how their celebration goes.
Yep. That picture really nice.
DreamHack, they go wild, but I don't ever remember seeing champagne. As for like GSL Cellies or GSTL, I I think there's some sort of liquid, but I can't guarantee that it's champagne.
Well, so yeah, I saw it in ASL, and actually, what NASL did when they finished, I thought there was a misstep because they basically just kind of like left behind the crowd. There's no mention of second place or anything,
No.
so he just kind of left after he like watched his replays in the booth for so long. And then it was all about the winner. It's fine, celebrate the winner, but I thought it was a misstep. Like, at least give the second player his dues, and then bring on the first player. So what they did at the end of this DreamHack, they gave out the checks for first. They gave the second place 4GG. It was in like Swedish money, so it was like 30,000 for second place, and then like Luen or something. I don't even know what it was called in Sweden. So whatever that converts to. And then they gave Tasia his check, and big congratulations. Everyone cheered. And then this guy shows up and he like kind of shakes the bottle a little bit, gives it to Tasia. And then Tasia kind of looks at him. Tasia needed a translator, right? I don't think this guy spoke Korean, but he totally just talked Tasia's ear off for like a few seconds. And then he just pushed him up to the center area. And Tasia's like looking around holding this bottle like, what do I do? What's going on? So he shakes it a little bit, but it's very awkward. And he's shaking it like this. He's like, And then finally, he's trying to pull the cork off, but he can't. So he's reefing on it. He's like pulling as hard as he can, and then finally it comes off and it just spills on the ground. And he's like, "Hey!" And he holds it up with the most awkward celebration. And I'm like, these poor guys. Some of these people don't know about these celebrations, and you've got this guy talking to him in a language he doesn't understand. Pass him a bottle of champagne and say, "Go!" Like, what? So it was pretty awkward. And then I'm not sure, but I think like a fan came onto the stage, hoisted Tasia up, and lifted him up a few times, and then ran off. And I think it was just a random dude because he was wearing like a fanny pack around his op hat.
Wait, a fanny pack?
Shirt, dude. So I think he was just some guy. Decided to jump up there and lift Tasia.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Some awkward stuff though that I felt it was a little awkward.
Everyone needs their time on screen. Speaking of that, if you haven't seen the Season 4 ad for NASL...
Oh my gosh. I need a video editor. There's so many things I want to do with that video, John. You don't even know. But yeah, John is in that video. Do you guys not recognize the face? Look, do the face when you're all serious escorting Alicia.
It's a pretty good one. I might pull it up after the break.
Right.
Also to promote NASL, who really needs to return to Toronto for their Season 4 finale. Which is weird, because Team Liquid for the event listing still has the little Canadian flag next to the event. For NASL Season 4, if you go to the listing on the events page, it has a Canadian flag.
Is that a sign? Or
no, that's just a sign of Team Liquid not changing it from last season, I'm guessing.
So a mistake.
I doubt that.
Yeah, but good time. Congratulations to Tasia. And, I don't know. So I guess some other stories there. Stefano losing to 4GG along the way. 4GG obviously having a wicked run to get all the way to the end. Hero, I actually saw Hero posted some stuff on Facebook, which, like, he got all emo, I think. He was like... He had one post that just said, "I am nothing," all one word. And when I read that, I was like, whoa. And then I saw his results, and I was wondering, like, is that from the series? And he lost to Targa, who ended up third place. So
yeah, Australian fighting. Targa, who they compared to In Control, and he got very upset. No, congratulations to Targa. I mean, we keep hearing a lot about Australia and the Oceania sort of scene, and I mean, EsportsCanadaTV went down there for WCS, and they said, like, this is amazing. Pardon?
Have you seen that video where they promote it? They promote the Australian scene?
I don't believe so.
I'll link you later. It's actually a pretty good video.
We will put.
They show like a few players, and they talk about it. It was really well done. It was nicely produced. Sorry, go on with your story.
Oh, I don't know. What was I talking?
You were talking about Artosis and Tasteless going down there.
Oh, no, just that they went down there and they were like, guys, like, the Australian scene is amazing. Like, it's my #1 favorite scene ever. And I've just never really seen any matches, anything, VODs, anything from the Australian scene. And to see Targa show up out of nowhere, sort of, and take 3rd/4th in a fairly major tournament is huge.
Yeah. Somebody's asking for a link, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it in time. Maybe during break I'll try to find it, because I know I've watched it relatively recently. I made my wife watch it, because I try to get her into esports as much as possible, and all of you should.
How's that going for you, Frank?
Yeah. The first time my wife saw me play games, we were boyfriend girlfriend back then, but she was watching me play Natural Selection, and she was complaining that she was going to vomit. So then I just didn't make her play games with me anymore. So that's my esports experience with my significant other.
Well, my girlfriend started playing Skyrim over the weekend.
Oh, thanks.
And
Thanks,
she's awesome at it.
You're just the coolest guy ever.
Oh man, we are going to arm wrestle in person on episode 100.
I just wish I was John. I'm sorry.
Episode 100, we fight to the death. Guys, huge news. I can't believe we've waited over 15 minutes to talk about this, but World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria releases tonight at midnight. And I know I'm super excited.
How excited are you guys in chat? I want to see just a general...
Yeah, are there any WoW players in chat whatsoever?
I mean, I'm sure Blizzard's going to make their money,
yep.
And it's gonna rock. It's gonna make all the money they need. They're not gonna fail off this. I'm pretty certain. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen Idra's post where he's I actually have it written down somewhere. He's like, how long into the brainstorming process before you say, "F it, Ninja Pandas"? So yeah, it seems like an odd direction, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, from what I understand, pandas have been in the game since pretty much the beginning. Is what I've heard, so I don't think it's anything too crazy.
Yeah. They had the Brewmaster. He was part of the Orcs. You could play this panda. I think he was in the expansion. I don't think he was in the original Warcraft. So he wasn't in Reign of Chaos. He was in one of the expansions afterwards. He's one of the more popular characters in Dota 1, Pandaren Brewmaster. So I mean, they've had that character, and that character is usually built like a He's a strength hero, and he looks really fat. But his whole shtick is that he plays with booze, so he's like this drunken kung fu master. So he's hard to hit. He dodges well, even though he looks like he shouldn't. So, was he a neutral hero in Reign of Chaos? I don't remember. But anyways, he was in the Warcraft lore. But I feel like now, wow, they're stretching into that and making a whole expansion about it. I guess they just need more race skins so that they can keep selling another game.
Yeah, I mean, the game's been going on for so long that at some point you kind of have to jump the shark and try something really left field to maybe get some people back into the game. But I mean, everyone that I've talked to that I know that plays WoW is pretty excited about it. No one I know is like, "What panda's stupid? I'm stopping." I mean, they've already logged in so much time. I don't think anyone's going to give it.
Meanwhile, it's like all those people who complain on Reddit about EA, and then they go buy Mass Effect 3. So
yeah,
people are going to complain, but they're going to sell their units. Don't worry about that.
I was interested in seeing kind of some of the gameplay and whatnot, and I tuned into a couple streams from where it already launched in Europe earlier today. But the streams were pretty boring because these servers weren't operating correctly. There was some sort of error where the game would load up to 90% and then you would be DC'd immediately. It did seem that there was a couple of streams that had it up, but the major ones like Towley, I know is super popular for streaming WoW. Nothing. It was just him logging in over and over again. I just had flashbacks of D3 launch night, watching all the pros try and log in for several hours in a row.
Yeah. Well, I guess the cartoony, I've heard people talk about this. The art direction they went for the game was in a way brilliant, because although it looks pretty cartoony, the characters are kind of super deformed in a way, they didn't go for this ultra realistic look, so they went for this cartoony look, and because of that, the game doesn't age as quickly as other games, because it kind of holds on to this is our graphical style. The game hasn't aged, it's just this is the style that we're going for, and it permeates across multiple generations. Although a generation is 8 years, so I don't think that's the correct term. But anyways, so adding pandas in a way could fit this almost cartoony, this super deformed, this kind of not taking itself too seriously in the looks and in the play aspect. So it's probably just as smart a move as any other of their expansions, really.
Yeah, how many more dragons can you add in before it gets old?
I heard the next one they're going to have the flying sharks from StarCraft 2. That race is going to come in.
Is that 100% serious right now?
Yep. I have an inside contact at Blizzard.
No, you don't.
He likes to play Plinko a lot. I make fun of him all the time.
I can't wait for the break. Yeah, I watched a really, really good documentary. I think last weekend it was called Second Skin. That was all about MMOs, mostly about WoW and EverQuest 2, I believe.
Yeah.
That was really, really interesting. It was talking about all the kind of different levels of these people, where they were at with kind of their addiction to different MMOs and video games, and people who start relationships, meeting people online through EverQuest, and this like worldwide clan in WoW that stretches across like 100 different countries, and then one guy who basically almost killed himself playing WoW and then quit for 5 years, and now he's back in it. And it's like a good hour and a half, 2 hour documentary, and I will put a link in the chat if I can find it during the break. But it's a really good watch. I watched it with my girlfriend, and we both rather enjoyed it.
I feel like I've seen quite a few videos about this, like they touch on gaming addiction and stuff like that. I wonder if we see the same thing. I did happen to find that WCS Australia Nationals Oceania Finals thing. I think somebody wanted a link, so I'm going to go ahead and post that in the chat on the side. That's the link posted there, so if you guys want that, you can check it out. It's a pretty cool video. Watch it after our show so that we don't feel sad. And yeah, it's for Australian esports. What's next on the agenda, John?
Well, sir, I know this has been on the docket for several weeks, and I'm interested in hearing about it because I really don't know too much about the first game other than it made your wife want to vomit. So I'm definitely on board for that. Natural Selection 2. Frank, what can you tell me about this?
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody watching, if you guys played the first Natural Selection, please give me something to identify yourselves. I played the first Natural Selection a heck of a lot. I think that's probably the first game.
I'm going to put on the trailer while you talk about this as well.
Yeah, sure. They don't have sound. Nick is starting to scare me, so... yeah, so the first Natural Selection, that's probably one of the first games that I ended up playing and doing a lot, like playing seriously, and I really enjoyed that game. So some people actually... Okay, in case you don't know what Natural Selection is, it's a first-person shooter, but there's the opportunity for one of your players to get into the command chair, and then they get a view of the playfield like an RTS, and they basically treat the game like StarCraft. So you give your units, who are real people who are playing with you, you give them waypoints and tell them where to go, you outfit them with weapons and gear, and then you tell them not to die. And they go out and they have to fight this alien race. And without going too much more into the game, the aliens... they don't have the commander view, but they do have a builder unit, and they have like fighting units. So the game was really cool. It's kind of like, and I've heard this on Kotaku, it's like Natural Selection 2 is a genius mashup between Counter-Strike and StarCraft. So there's your RTS and there's your first-person shooter. So Natural Selection 2 is actually, if it isn't already out just yet, I don't know. I know it was pre-ordered on Steam when I first wrote this, but there was the offer of the deluxe version, which gives you some extra perks. But yeah, it should be released pretty soon, if not already. And people who've already bought the pre-ordered it already get to play some games. I think the heavy suit has been released into the game, so you can play that as well. But it was a pretty cool game. We heard Clutch actually talk about it last week. He said how the in-game spectator mode actually allows you to draw on the map, which is something we also saw at the Dota. Yeah, we saw that at the Dota Internationals as well, which I think is a pretty cool thing that we should probably be included in the spectator mode for all the games that we seem to enjoy, because it makes a lot of sense and it makes for a better viewing experience. So NS2, it's still not sure like how well it'll do, but the first one was like it had a huge cult following. When NS 2.0 came out, so when they finally released to build 2.0, they introduced this they tried to make the game more like Counter-Strike in a way, but with levels where you could level up, and I think they took the wrong direction. I think the game should live in that building base, fighting the alien race, and it looks like Natural Selection 2 is sticking with that. So, yeah, just something I wanted to talk about. I was super pumped about the first one, and hopefully the second one does well. I do want to say I just got a message from Ryze. It looks like he's here, so I don't know if you want to go for a break and we'll set up for the interview.
Yeah, most definitely. I just want to say that's funny you mentioned the RTS and FPS sort of mashup, because that was always like video game lore between my friends and I. Like growing up, it was like, imagine you could play an FPS that was also an RTS and your friends could control you, and it was just like, oh my god, that game would sell billions. And now it's here, and I've never heard of it. So, guys, we will be...
Played it.
I know. I'm 100% going to play Natural Selection 2. I do want to talk about Borderlands 2 as well after the Ryze interview. So, guys, we are going to take a quick break, The stream might actually go off as I have to do some overlays again to get this all straight. So we might go off for a second, and if we do, make sure to refresh, and we shouldn't be any longer than 2 minutes. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I don't know what else I can do with the lighting either. It's pretty dark in here.
Alright guys, we are back from our short break. I apologize for that, but we are joined by the one and only Col.Ryze. Frank and I had the pleasure of meeting Ryze at NASL, and he did us a dubious honor of joining us in the Pros vs. Joes show matches we had at the after party on Saturday night, and he was a great help with that. And he said that he would come on the show, and we're more than happy to have him, so welcome, Ryze.
Hey! How's it going?
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. Ryze, obviously, there's a couple things we definitely need to talk about. You, of course, are at the Complexity House right now, so we definitely want to get some info on that. But we definitely want to find out a little more about you as a Canadian pro gamer. So why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe where you grew up and how you kind of got into video games?
Sure. There's Fuzzy behind me, by the way.
Oh, hey.
I'm on the show. Hello. Anyway, I grew up, do you know Scarborough?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm from Toronto, and I actually spent a lot of time in Scarborough.
I was born, and I lived there till I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6, and then I moved outside of the area to some little small community called Curtis. It's way out there. If I walk like 5 minutes north of my house, I can see farms. Like hang out with cows and stuff. It's pretty cool. And it's right next to Oshawa, which people might have heard of. And then like I'm an hour outside of Toronto, so that's the area where I lived and grew up. And you know, as far as gaming goes, like I was always like your typical like kid, teenager that just played video games. Like me and my friends back in the day, we used to all hang out and play GoldenEye and Smash Brothers and N64 together. We would do like our little in-group tournaments with that kind of stuff. And then one day, my dad rented StarCraft 64 for the N64, and I started playing that and get the campaign, and then I got it for the computer, and then I just kept playing it since then.
Wow. I think you might be the only person alive who was first exposed to StarCraft through the N64 version.
Yeah, probably.
I never actually played that. Was it difficult to just use like the controller?
Yes. Well, when I played it at first, I thought it was okay. But then after playing it on the computer, and then going back to that, I was like, wow, how did I ever do this? Like, you can't even like hockey anything, you know? You just have to like use a joystick to go around and then select stuff and then command it. So it's pretty bad.
Blazing 20 APMs were winning you matches?
Yeah.
How many times can you press the A key really fast? 20 times.
Until your thumb starts hurting, I guess, and then you have to stop.
That's amazing. I mean, you started playing Brood War. Kind of at what point did you think, hey, I'm better than a lot of people at this game?
Well, this is difficult. I never really thought about that, but when I started playing Brood War, like it was mostly just I was one of those people that just didn't really even know about the competitive side. I played like 3v3, BGH, and Fastest Map and all the custom games. And then after a little while, I got bored of that and then moved over into the low money and Melee and found out about IC Cup, or ICC Cup. And I played on that for a while, and I joined the team, Team 3D, which is like a Russian team back then. And then basically I got B plus 1v1 and A minus 2v2, and then I was like, huh, I guess this is fun, like being, that level. And then like you see the ranking and you start to feel good about yourself, and then just played like in clan war stuff from that side of it. And then I saw like all the Korean, like the scene in Korea, and I was like, wow, like that really opened my eyes to all of it. And then I was like, wow, what if I could be that good and do that and compete on a stage like that? That would be really cool. But then obviously, like Brood War, that was impossible.
Yeah.
But then StarCraft 2 came around, and then I just started playing that, and then I saw like MLGs and stuff, and just kept going. It's been riding the wave.
Wow.
We know that you played Brood War and StarCraft 2 now. Are there any other games that you were especially good at that you kind of had to decide between?
Mostly I've played StarCraft, but I did play Warcraft 3 for a little bit. I tried to play the melee for Warcraft 3, but then I got really frustrated because the Blade Master would always kill my workers. I was trying to creep. I would be like killing the creeps to level up, and then I'd get my base destroyed by the Blade Master and the grunts, and then I got frustrated with that. So I played Dota, and I've played other games, like Counter-Strike and stuff, but I've always found that I had more fun learning and getting better and just playing StarCraft 2, so there wasn't really much of a decision for me. But I'll play any kind of game too, just for fun.
Did you?
Just the other night we were all playing Left 4 Dead here at the house.
Did you mostly stick with like multiplayer games, or did you? Because like all the games you mentioned obviously were multiplayer games, but did you do many did you play single player much in anything, or did you kind of gravitate to Counter-Strike, Dota, all these games that were unique instances but the same game over and over?
Yeah, I had all that because I guess I could spend a lot of time doing that. But all the games I mentioned that have single players, I played those and beat them. And then also on the side, like I played a lot of RPGs and stuff, and like all the Final Fantasies and stuff like that kind of. Like I do like that kind of game as well.
Yeah, typical gamer stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we can obviously hear you guys going nuts in the background. Can you give us like a taste of what's like a day in life at a day of your life at the Complexity household? Like what do you guys do in a typical day?
Well, we all wake up at our own individual times in the house. We have a scheduled practice usually that starts at noon and then goes into the evening. So as long as you're up before noon, you're good. But if you're not up by noon, you get your bed flipped. So you can get to practice in time. So that's always fun. But I'm good at waking up, so I haven't had my bed flipped yet.
Who's notorious for having their bed flipped?
Sasquatch, and he's the one you can hear right now. He's on Kings of Tin right now, actually.
Yeah, I saw that.
So this is the only other things you deal with too. Like everybody's doing their own things at once in that room here. And if you want, I can just like move my webcam around a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love
show
that.
You. So that's Cukesy over there in the corner. Then you can see Sasquatch right there. And like Ghost User sits behind me, and then Fuzzy sits directly behind me too. So you can see like that's like our little room there, and then Trimester sits over there by Cukesy as well. So like this is the room we all sit in all day and practice and play. But then also if you want to like check that out, you can go to Complexity's website because we have a stream. Oh man, I can't get my webcam back on.
Oh no. Is this your downtime right now, or are you guys like this is the time where you guys can play anything? You're not necessarily training?
Yeah, like after the in-house practice stops, usually we all get out, do our own thing, go read a book or whatever you want to do for a while, cook food. We also go to the gym because we just recently got a gym membership.
Nice.
And then later back on in the night tonight we'll all probably start practicing again. Like the evening is reserved for like tournaments and coaching and whatever stuff you need to do.
Right.
Stay.
So how important would you say it is to be part of a house like Complexity for like the pro gamer? Like what has it done for your game? Like how important is it?
It's actually really good. I've noticed like the improvement just with ladder itself. Like my win percentage in ladder went up after like training in house here for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one like physical result I could see. But then also just like feeling better about the game and everything. So, like I just like it's hard to really say it in a simple way, but like everything gets better. Just the environment itself. You live with your team, you train with your team, you joke around with your team. Like we all just talk about game, troll each other all day. It's fun.
Yeah, and then having all those great players in one house to be able to like look over replays and give you insights, and that's obviously pretty important.
Yeah, we're constantly bouncing ideas off each other and talking and looking at each other's replays and all that kind of stuff. So that's really good too.
Who would you say is the most inspirational in the house for you right now?
You know, I've never really thought about that either. But
are you sure you'd want to admit this to the other guys in the house?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. But everybody has like their own strengths, right?
Yeah.
So,
was there anyone maybe in the past who's been inspirational to get you where you are?
Well, in the past, like I'm actually the oldest member, like in time spent on the team.
Yeah.
I've seen all these guys come while I've been on the team.
Yeah.
But you know, Trimaster has been inspirational because of his success at tournaments, like going far, taking big meeting players. And it's always good to talk about him, about like his mindset going into matches, how he deals with the pressure and stuff. So like, Trimaster and QXD also is really experienced when it comes to competing and like just mentally focusing on the game and stuff. But then like we have all the Zerg too, like Scouser and Buzzy, and they all have different strengths when it comes to the Zerg matchups. So talking to them about strategy is really good too.
Yeah. So what would you say is there like? What would you say is the biggest challenge of being in a gaming house, or is there any?
I guess the biggest challenge is not having really that much time or opportunity for solitude. So, because like it's not luxury, like you don't get like your own room and stuff. Like we all share our rooms with each other. Like we have our own beds, which is okay, good. But we share the rooms, so if you're going to go to a gaming house, you have to like understand that you're not really going to have too much alone time. And when you go from playing at home to going to a team house, that's a big adjustment because like before I'm just sitting in my room myself playing, and then I can do anything I want, and then I can just go out. But like here, like you have to be used to being around people pretty much 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not like a bad thing, but it is an adjustment. It is different than being at home. So yeah, just like the lack of solitude, and it's also not having a car and not being able to go do stuff that you would normally do at home, because like you can't really go out much either because we all have to rely on like Trimaster or our player manager for cars.
Are you in like a densely populated area? Like are you kind of close to malls, theaters, that sort of thing?
We're in Houston, but we're a little bit outside of Houston. We're still in the region of it, but we're kind of, I guess, southwest or southeast. But I don't know, like everything from the house right now that we go to do or like shop is like 4 miles away. So it's not too bad, I guess. Like I was thinking about buying a bike just so I could like get on that and go somewhere by myself if I wanted to. But it is still kind of far, and the other thing too is the Texas heat. Like if you go out,
especially for a Canadian boy.
Our Canadian skin is just melting.
Your Curtis white skin.
Your Curtis white skin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. So now that you're kind of a seasoned vet of the team life, what's kind of your advice for younger players looking to make it into the pro scene?
So, I think one thing that people neglect a lot and don't do is just putting time into thinking about the game and learning it. Because a lot of people will just play and 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 grind games because they think that's what they need to do to get better. But I mean, if you sit back and like you just think about the game, like you don't even have to like look at replays and stuff. You can just think about it. Like think about what you're doing physically inside the game and how you're playing it. Just spend more time thinking overall, because you can learn and you can kind of visualize things, and you can then start to apply them to practice and see if they work or not. Because basically, like if you sit there and grind out games forever, you can be making mistakes over and over and not know it until you sit back and think about them. And you can also just think about ways to do things more easily within the game to improve them too. Like, how am I building spine crawlers? Am I just clicking the C button and standing it, or am I doing something that's more efficient with my APM, stuff like that. So just spend more time thinking about the game, learning it and stuff instead of playing it. Like once you feel like you spent enough time thinking, you learned everything there is to know, you're doing everything right, and then it comes into the point where you need to work on more of the execution. Then you can play more games, I guess. But you need to just like have a plan on how you're going to get better first, and to do that, you need to think a lot and learn.
Awesome advice. I definitely take that to heart because I feel like I just don't know the ins and outs of the game as much as I should.
Oh man, John, you know how much thinking you need to do? I don't think there's enough time in the day, bro.
This big head, I gotta fill it with knowledge. What's your fondest memory so far of this crazy esports life you've led?
It would be a year ago at MLG Anaheim, so not this one, but the year before.
Yep.
I went down there, and obviously California is nice, and my whole team was there back then, so that was like Cruncher, Life, and Firezerg, and those guys that were on the team back then, and we were all
Canadian players.
Exactly, the whole Canadian crew was there plus Cruncher, and then it was just a really fun event overall. I think because that was when it was starting to get more popular with the Koreans coming over and stuff. So the crowd was really huge and energetic. There was like beach balls being tossed around, and people were wave. And at the same time too, we got really spoiled at that event. There was a Team Liquid player lounge. There was like an IPL lounge, and there was like numerous events going on every night. So like once you finished playing and got knocked out of the tournament, there was just fun parties like everywhere at the event.
Nice.
So it was just a good time. Like I remember I went to like some hotel suite party, and then there was like a bar inside the hotel suite, and I got stuff from there. And then I went out to the patio, and there was like MMA and Slayer's Boxer just sitting on the patio drinking, and I was like, oh. And I was with my team too, and it was I don't know, like I'm probably not giving like the wrong image here, but like just thinking about the event was just awesome.
Nice. Yeah, Anaheim always draws a huge crowd. It's definitely one of MLG's most successful events. A question we ask all of our guests so far is to give us your top 3 favorites right now, usually one for each race. And I'm going to make this more difficult since you are a part of a team. You can't name anyone on your team.
Mm-hmm.
So one Zerg, one Terran, one Protoss.
Okay, well, I gotta say Symbol. But I've been a fan of Symbol forever. Like, since I saw him use Ultralisk in ZDP. Wow, like, no one's done that or actually made it work yet, because people have talked about it, like, oh, what if you use Ultralisk to break force fields and then attack? But people are like, no, that's bad, but then he did it. Hi, Marcus! And then he won with it. And ever since then, he's just been, like, really innovative, and his late game is solid, and everything he does is so solid. So he's always a Zerg that I draw inspiration from when I watch his play. And, with Protoss, I think Creator Prime is one of my favorites, because he has really unique stuff he does as well. Like, he has a lot of strategies that aren't dependent on just sitting back and making Colossi, and then like, he does some really cool stuff with gateway armies. And Terran, I gotta say Tija, because he kind of broke that trend playing both Zerg against Terran, just by showing us that you can keep expanding as a Terran player and dropping mules and expanding more and then producing like a ton of units and beating Zerg late game. He's shown that it's possible. So he's like, that makes me feel like, wow, like he's a great Terran, and all the Terrans should try and learn from him instead of complaining about, oh my god, Queens. It's just so good.
Who are you going to face in the MLG finals?
I'm not sure. They haven't put the brackets. I have like the MLG invite online qualifiers coming up in a month. So that'd be the top 80 players that were at Rally just now, plus some invites. And if I do well there, I can get into either the group play or get a seat into Winners Round 5. So that's the first thing that I'm focusing on. That doesn't come till like October, and the bracket hasn't been put up yet, so I have no idea who I'm playing. And the finals, how I do in that invite online tournament will determine who I play at the finals. So, gotta wait.
I just took the time to put up your Twitch stream on our overlay here. Is that something you wanted to plug and let people know kind of your streaming schedule coming up and leading into the next big events?
Yep. So I stream most nights after the in-house practice is over. Practice will end, and then I'll eat, go to the gym, do stuff, come back in time for Play-Em. And I'll usually start with that. So I'll stream Play-Em, try and win it. And then if I win, that's cool. If I lose, I'll just cover play louder or hard form after.
Mm-hmm.
I like to focus while I'm in the game. I'm not that good at talking and playing, so I'll put on the music and I'll just play as best as I can. But then usually I'll go over my replays while I'm on stream too, and then show people like how I think about the game, how I think about fixing stuff when I lose. So I do a lot of that, and yeah, mostly it's just nights. It's like 7 p.m. Central until like 11 or 12.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I appreciate when I watch a stream is someone going through the replay and kind of walking through their mindset of, here's why I did this, he went this, I saw this. Because, I mean, trying to do that while you're playing is impossible.
Yeah, I feel like that way I get people that are watching me and myself as well get the most out of it, because when I'm in the games, I'm completely focused and just doing well. And then after the games, I'm watching the replay and then focusing more on talking and explaining stuff then.
Yeah, DeMuslim definitely does a really good job of that, and I'd be happy to see Azerg do the same thing. As fun as watching Terran replays is. Before I get into the lightning round, are there any shout-outs you want to give? Teammates, sponsors, anyone that's helped you get where you are today?
Yep, shout out to Complexity Gaming and all our sponsors, Creative, PMY, QPad, Origin PC. I sponsor Gamma Labs, which is sponsoring the house for us, pretty much. And like one thing I do want to mention with them is to go onto their website, gammalabs.net. So I don't know if someone can link that, maybe.
Yeah, I can pull it up, actually.
www.gammalabs.net. Because if you support them, you support us, and you support our house. Because basically, they sponsor our house, and what they sell is they sell two things, mainly G Fuel and PTF. So G Fuel is like an energy drink that's like Monster or Red Bull, and PTF is for working out. It has like creatine in it, but I think most people will be more interested in the G Fuel because it just the energy. Nice. But yeah, if you go there and you go to the product page and you buy like a tub of G Fuel or something, it's actually like Nesquik. Like you buy it, it gets shipped to you, and then you get this whole big tub of powder that can last you for a month, and you just use it in your drink, and it tastes amazing, and it gives you lots of energy. And if you use my code Ryze5, and that's RYZE, and then number 5, you'll get $5 off in the tub as well.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely check that out.
Do they ship to Canada?
Yep, they ship everywhere. They
Perfect.
ship to the UK. They ship everywhere.
Awesome. We'll definitely check out gammalabs.net and get some G Fuel with the coupon code Ryze5.
Yeah.
Ryze, we are going to move into the dreaded lightning round. The lightning round is 10 questions that you have to answer as quickly as humanly possible. Clutch was our first contestant last week, and he got 7 out of 10. After I give you the questions, you'll realize that means nothing. Are you ready for the 10 lightning round questions?
I'm ready.
Question 1,
Let's go.
chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Canadian beer you miss the most?
Molson Canadian, although it's owned by an American company, so I don't know if it's there.
It's Canadian. It's Canadian. Biggest StarCraft 2 rival?
It's changed over the time, but right now in the house, it's going to be TriMaster.
If I wasn't a pro gamer, I would be...
a guitar player. Yeah.
Not Guitar Hero. Brood War lurkers or Heart of the Swarm swarm hosts?
Lurkers.
Ooh, old school.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Most attractive person in esports, not yourself. And you can't say TriMaster again.
I've always thought that the Rachel girl from CSN is pretty hot, so I'll say her.
Rachel, she heard that.
Yeah.
Favorite Simpsons character?
Homer.
It's a cop-out. Favorite complexity roommate?
Scott Ford, my player manager, because he's my roommate.
He will flip your bed if you didn't say him. And how long until you start wearing QXE bandanas?
You know, a month or two probably. MLG Dallas. I'll show 'em
MLG
the
Dallas.
bandanas.
I want to see MLG Dallas stream you with a QXE bandana.
Yeah, do it.
Ryze, thank you so much for doing this. I hope you had as much fun as we did. Are there any last words that you want to shout out to anyone?
Well, thanks for having me on the show, and definitely check out GamerLabs.net. Try to support them and support us. Check out my stream, twitch.tv/Col.Ryze. My Twitter's the same. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. We will post all of those links that Ryze mentioned in the chat. And thank you, Ryze, and good luck. Have fun.
Thank you. You guys too. Take care.
What a nice young Canadian boy.
From Scarberia.
Scarberia? Is that what you guys call it?
Yep. Oh man, Scarborough's got a lot of bad raps. When SARS was hitting Canada big, we called it SARS, bro. And, we called it Scarberia. Whenever you leave Scarborough, you can take the man out of Scarborough, but you can't take the Scarborough out of the man. So many quips about Scarborough.
Yeah, he was mentioning like farms and whatnot, and I was like, man, you have no idea. I'm living in New Brunswick right now.
Yeah, I know all the places he's mentioning. I have lots.
Oh
of
yeah,
friends.
I knew them too. I've driven through Ontario pretty extensively, but you're not Col.Ryze. I'm trying to change these screen overlays, but I don't even think it's working right now. It says you're Complexity Rise right now. We're gonna keep it that way.
That's cool. I'm just good, I think. Maybe not Zerg. That's my off race, but
Well, whatever. You're still good.
Did you want
says I'm looking at a
something
window,
about-
looking at a farm. No, I did want to talk about Borderlands 2, but obviously we're going to have to wait until next week, and I haven't really played it as much as I wanted to, so I can't really give my educated opinion on it just yet. But it is fantastic so far. I do have a gripe or two, and I'll get to that next week. Is there anything that you...
Yeah, maybe two things.
Oh, God.
One thing is that we do have Borderlands 2. Well, we have lots of different games streaming on this channel. You'll see them below, but we did have our good friend Tony streaming some Borderlands 2, so definitely check that out. Keep checking back here for other games that we just stream, usually like popular, fun, exciting things. And then the other thing is we recently, and the VODs are below, Untouchables League of Legends tournament, and I think there's another Untouchables tournament coming up. Is that it?
Tony, tell me.
Are you here, Tony?
No, he doesn't hear us.
That's
yeah.
Oh, I'm right here.
Oh, God. Tell us about Untouchables, the next tournament coming up.
And quick.
We don't know when it is. It's probably going to be
You're
next
useless
month,
to
though.
me. Get off the stream.
Oh.
All right. Well, Tony, we will have you on next week to talk about the Untouchables, both the one that just happened and the one coming up. Tony helps us out with production behind the scenes, so thank you very much.
Tony's
Tony.
a good man.
You can find him at Lancelot ALB is his personal stream.
Wait, who's gonna? Oh, the guy who talked like 3 seconds at the end of the show. Yeah, I want to follow that guy.
Oh, okay. Or I could not plug him, and I'll just shit all over him.
Oh, whoa.
Frank, would you like that?
No, follow Tony.
All right, guys.
I'm following him, I think,
Of course.
on Twitter.
Who wouldn't follow Tony? I'm really excited to see Ryze in a QXC bandana. Zeke Sticky Flames tournament going on right about now. I'm not sure if they have streamed tonight, but I really hope they do. So check out Zeke. I believe it's z33k.com, and then they're on the front page right now. I think you can still sign up in the next minute or two. I'm going to play in the tournament, so hopefully you can see me on stream getting crushed. You'll see me as
Good luck, John.
You'll see me as BSG.Toaster. Next week, guys, we have a couple guests potentially lined up. I know that we've been talking to Kennegat from Team Liquid, the marketing manager from Team Liquid, has said that he would love to do the show, so hopefully we can get him on at some point, as well as Aluge, and we have a slew of other pro-Canadian gamers who will hopefully be joining us in the coming weeks. And if we all pray really hard, then Nick won't be here next week as well. So thank you, Frank. You can follow Frank at ESC.Jovian on Twitter, and myself at Quinn of the Net. This has been Esports Canada TV, Episode 5, with our special guest, Col.Ryze. Frank, any last word?
And Tony, our special
And
guest.
Tony, and our special, even specialer guest, Tony.
Special.
Specialer guest.
No last words for me. We're done. This gong show's over.
Man, Frank, we did it. I just want to say that we did it. High
I
five.
can't believe we made it,
High
John.
five.
This is epic.
This is amazing. Guys, we made it. All right. Quinn of the Net signing off. Tune in, Sticky Flames. Twitch.tv/Sticky Flames as well as their stream. Good night, everyone.
Ties, I must have